Hello, so we've been told that Gary drove from London all the way up to Sheffield, and it took him 3 hours at an average speed of 80 kilometres an hour. So he drove this distance, whatever this distance is, in 3 hours. So that's our time, 3 hours. And our average speed was 80 kilometres per hour. We were then told that Lynn, another person, drove this same route, London to Sheffield, but she only took 5 hours. So Lynn took 5 hours. This is Gary. This is Lynn. She took 5 hours. And we've been told that assuming Lynn drove along the same roads as Gary and did not take a break, work out her average speed. So in other words, what is her speed? Well, in order to do this, we've been given time, we've been given speed. We want to find out the distance because they come in threes. These three things come in threes. So I know that distance, if I form this triangle, speed and time, I know then that distance is equal to speed times time. So maybe if I change this to lowercase t. Distance is equal to speed times time. So I can use Gary's information, because I've been given the time and I've been given the speed, so therefore I can find out the distance. So I can then say, well, the distance is equal to speed, which is 80, times time, which was 3. So what is 80 times 3? It's 240. So what is the unit? Well, I've been given it in kilometres per hour, and I've been given his time in hours, so therefore it must be kilometres. So that is the distance from London to Sheffield. So the distance from London to Sheffield must be 240 kilometres. I then want to work out Lynn's speed. So I know now that the distance is equal to 240 kilometres. I know that distance is equal to 240 kilometres. So what is the speed? Well, I use the distance, speed, time triangle as before. And I can say, well, speed is equal to distance divided by time. So what is the distance? It's 240 kilometres. It's 240 kilometres. So therefore it must be 240 divided by her time. Well, what was her time? Her time was 5 hours. Her time was 5 hours. So if we just divide through by 5, then that's equal to 240 divided by 5. Now this is a non-calculator paper, so how do we divide through by 5? Well, I do it by using fractions. So I've got 240, write it out in bigger, 240, and I'm dividing by 5. This is all this line means. A fraction just simply means this line, this vinculum, it's called, is just simply a division. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this 5 into a fraction. So how do I can represent 5 as a fraction? Well, I could represent it as 10 divided by 2, couldn't I? 10 over 2. And I like multiplying by 10, I like dividing by 2, so that's happy. But I've got a fraction here, and I've got a number here. So I need to convert this first number into a fraction. So it's going to be 240 over 1. So what is 240 divided by 10? Well, first things first, I need to flip this fraction. So it becomes 2 over 10, and I need to change this division into a multiply. So now I just do 240 times 2, which is 480, and I just do 10 times 1 on the bottom, which is just 10. So what is 480 divided by 10? It's just 48. So her average speed was 48 kilometres per hour.